Welcome back to the Mountain Morning Show. The book is called Overcoming Fake Talk. The author is John Stoker, who is here in studio. Welcome to the show, sir.
Glad to be here.
I'm happy to have you here. I've got a little bit of time to read some of the book last night, and one of the things that I was more than impressed by, though, honestly, was what other people have said about your book, including Stephen Covey.
Yeah, I was very privileged to get some of the endorsements that I got. And I think in organizations today, people still have a very difficult time talking about what matters most. In fact, I think they really avoid it like the plague. And so,
well, I think Stephen Covey would know something about that, so it's nice that he wrote that. Well, tell me a little bit about the inspiration behind the book. Where did it come from?
You know, I guess I'd have to say it started a long, long time ago. I was a whitewater guide in Grand Canyon for 13 years while I was going to school, and I had a lot of wonderful experiences there. And I started to notice that some of the dynamics that were at play in the water, in the canyon, between people, were kind of in conversation. And so I started noticing those dynamics and realized that if I could be aware of them and then manage them, I could improve the quality of the conversations that I was holding. So, kind of a long story, but that's kind of where the impetus kind of came from.
Wow. And what do you think has been, as you wrote the book, I think I've heard this from other authors, that they learn a lot while writing the book that they write. Did you learn while writing it too?
Oh, I learned a lot. In fact, after I wrote it, I thought, well, what about this? And I've learned a lot since then. But, you know, it's a wonderful process of just kind of putting down your thoughts and then having other thoughts come, and then trying to write and articulate those in a way that are easy for people to understand and that they could apply the concepts of the principles relatively easily and quickly to improve the way they talk to other people.
All right, here's an important question, because I'm kind of curious how this affects you. Did you fake talk yourself at all? Does that happen? Do we talk to ourselves in the same way sometimes?
You know, that is a great question. I don't know that I really ever thought about that, but I'd have to say that I think sometimes, sure, I think that we do fake talk ourselves. If we don't have an accurate perception of ourselves, I mean, I think the kind of saying goes, we have a hard time seeing ourselves the way that we are seen. And so until we gain, I guess you'd say, a more objective perspective, in a sense, we do perceive ourselves not particularly the way other people perceive us, and we would fake talk ourselves.
Yeah, we kind of believe it. All right, so when it comes to the process of writing, you mentioned to me that you wrote this up here in Park City.
Yes.
Why was that? Talk to me about that process and why it necessitated coming up here.
I have a lovely wife and I have 5 children, and I just couldn't get anything done. And when I'm at home in the office, the phone rings nonstop. So my spouse finally said, if you want to stay married, let's finish the book.
Yeah, that's first and foremost, right?
And so I had the opportunity to come up to Park City 1 week a month for a number of months, which was excellent because in this beautiful setting I could get up early, take a run, have a little breakfast, write all day for a week, and then go away and think about what I'd written, change it if I wanted, and then come prepared to write again within another month. So it took me about 5-6 months to kind of write it over time.
Wow.
But that's kind of how it kind of came to be.
Well, so, the way you talked about that, embarking on this process, you obviously have to have the support of home.
Yes.
As you write a book, and clearly you did. She had, you know, I mean, I guess it's that point of you'll either finish it or we're finished, right? Is that? I know it's kind of tongue in cheek, but it's kind of funny how that is.
Well, she's supporting you. She was teasing.
Yeah.
But you know, I travel around a lot and speak and train other people, corporations. And so, you know, when you're on the road, usually at the end of the day, you're so tired, you really don't have much in the way of creative juices left. And so she was encouraging me to basically, let's get it done, let's make it happen, and that happened.
That's great. It's an important part of having support at home. All right, let's talk about the specifics. Let's break it down a little bit. How do you define fake talk in the first place?
Well, I would say that, like I said, fake talk is any conversation that we hold where we expected to get results, and then what shows up is the results that we got aren't what we even intended. And then you have to go back and hold the conversation again. That may be, let's just say that it's not really voluntary. It's just that we weren't as specific or as clear, or
Right.
we didn't check in with the person. Sometimes, unfortunately, people, I think, are intentionally fake, which means they won't tell everything, or they will actually go out of their way to tell, I guess, untruths.
Right.
And so I think that whether you're in relationship with someone, or dealing with your children, or even at work, there are opportunities for us to think about what it is that we want to convey it, and then to check in and see if we actually have done that. But oftentimes we just don't do that, and so you know, we don't get what we wanted because we just kind of didn't, either weren't clear or we didn't check in and the like.
Would I be correct to assume that identifying someone else as being or as using fake talk with us comes from knowing, you know, those same things, what fake talk is, and kind of identifying it with yourself, then you can tell when other people are doing this? How do you know someone's fake talking you?
Well, if you and I were talking and you were telling me something, I'd probably ask you a lot of questions to make absolutely certain that I was understanding, for example, what you were asking me to do, so that in the end I would give you what you wanted. If you came back and then said to me, John, that isn't what I wanted, then I would probably say, well, gosh, you know, when we talked, here were the points you stressed that I should do. I did those. What happened in the interim? And then we'd have a conversation about if something changed, why you couldn't come to me and tell me that, so that going forward, that wouldn't happen again.
So you're setting some expectations there.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's, I think, it sounds like a big part of this, setting expectations, but also kind of making sure that perceptions are reality.
Yes.
In real life, as
Yes.
opposed to how we often think of the perceptions as being pretty fake, right?
Well, and I think sometimes fake talk occurs because we just don't stop to think about our own thoughts.
Yeah.
So if you're not really clear with yourself about what it is that you want me to do, then what's going to come out of your mouth will not be as clear, as specific as you really intended. So then I operate based on that lack of clarity, if you want, or vagary.
Sure.
And then you think you're going to get what you wanted, but I'm interpreting what I thought you wanted, and then what I give you is what I thought you wanted, not what you wanted. So.
Well, in that case, let me be very clear. We're almost out of time.
Okay.
So tell me where we get your book.
You can find it online at Amazon, Barnes & Noble. I think it is at Barnes & Noble if you actually wanted to do a walk-up bookstore. You could also go to my website, overcomingfaketalkbook.com, and order it there, and there's an opportunity to get a bunch of free gifts if you bought it there.
All right. Well, John, I want to thank you so much for being here. John Stoker.
Thank you.
Again, the book is Overcoming Fake Talk. We will be back with more on the Mountain Morning Show. We've got some royalty coming in the room. They'll be on set here for you after this quick commercial break.